Today is a very exciting day. Today is seat day. We're gonna be doing a lot of seat stuff today. Let me turn this fan off. We're gonna be swapping between cars and seats in the Z, seats in this car. I'm just really happy to finally have the seats that I want to go in this car because I really don't like the Sparco Sprint, which I know you guys say I talk too much, but let me give you a quick rundown of the rabbit hole I went down. Originally gonna get cheap seats. Then I was like, crap, I need to get at least FIA approved seats for my own safety if I get in an accident, which is gonna happen, it's inevitable. And two, so I can, drive Pro-Am if I want to, or do some road racing stuff that requires it. I'll be covered if I have an FIA seat. So then I ordered a pair that were on a super cheap sale, and then a week and a half later, they're like, never mind, just kidding, we don't have any more in stocks. And I'm like, oh crap. So then I go down the rabbit hole further. I'm like, well, I have a bride in the Z that I'm pretty sure is real. Might as well buy a real bride for the driver's side. Then I have brides. One's janky, but I have brides. But it turns out to get a Zeta 3 like I have a real one, it's not $800. Once you get the gradation, it's like $1,100 plus shipping, and it's like a 3-month back order. So I'm like, crap. So the only other bride I could get was even more expensive and wouldn't fit in the Miata. And I was basically back to square one. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just didn't order anything. And then all of a sudden the car is driving, and I'm like, crap, I really need to figure this out. I need to order seats. So I did have a momentary lapse in judgment. I'm gonna tell you guys this just so you can laugh at my expense. I did order fake brides. I pressed the order button on 2 black gradation brides, and I was like, oh, I'll just get a real one later and it'll be fine. It's gonna be great. No, I couldn't do it. 5 minutes later, canceled the order. And I found these seats, which is like freaking perfect. So these are Momo Starts. Grafton had these in an E30, and I really, really liked them then. I like them a lot. I think they look really good. They're very clean, simple seat. They used to have cooler like square back stitching, but this looks fine. They're a fiberglass shell, so they look like a tube spring seat, but they're a fiberglass seat, and they're FIA approved, and they're $440 shipped. The reason that's so sick is because the only other option that I knew of in that price range for an FIA approved seat was what I have in the Miata now, which I do not like these seats. This is a Sparco Sprint. See, nothing against Sparco. I personally don't really care for the Evos either. I just don't fit in them well. But I really dislike the Sprints or any seat like this. This is a tube frame seat. So instead of being a fiberglass shell with padding, which you can generally remove and change and whatever, it's just a steel frame with padding and springs in the bottom. So you're limited to this huge like leg hump at the front, which sometimes is nice, but in some seating positions, you don't want that. You want it to be more flat. Mainly don't like the fact that they kill a lot of the feel of the car because you're sitting on springs and you're basically being suspended. So a lot of the things that you feel through the car get numbed out. And that's what I love so much about a fiberglass seat is you feel everything. If you have a loose suspension arm, you can kind of feel it knocking around in your butt. It's like in Rush when Ayrton Senna was saying, that he could tell that the car needed all these things because of his butt. That's kind of how you feel with a fiberglass seat. You can feel everything. So I'm like always dead set on a track car on a fiberglass seat. So that's why I'm so hyped on these, and that they're that affordable, and they're fiberglass. However, I ordered a pair of these, and let me show you what I actually received. This is what I received. I received a box of 2 of these Momo Daytona Halo seats. You can see here's the other one. Haven't even taken it out of the box yet. So I did contact the distributor about this because I was like, I can't just keep these. They were really cool about it because it was, just a simple mistake. It was mislabeled, like these things happen. And then basically by the time they paid for shipping back and then shipping back again to me, like the cost would outweigh getting them back. So they said basically they would do that, but if I wanted to keep them, I could just keep them. So thought about it long and hard. I definitely hadn't planned on ordering or using a Halo seat unless I had to for Pro-Am or like some wheel-to-wheel racing if I went into that. But, I thought about it a lot and I sat in it, which let me show you what it's like. I fit really well in it body-wise. The only thing I really run into is that with my helmet on, I can't fit my helmet cam because it sticks kind of like way off my helmet. So that would mean I need to either like mount it in the car, have a spot for it, like be able to run the mic into my helmet or something. I'd have to change that up a little bit, but the thing about a Halo seat is you do lose a little visibility, but if you're gonna look to the side, you're gonna lean forward a little bit anyway. You can't really see past this anyway. And in drifts, you're not really gonna lose that much visibility from what I can tell. You do gain a lot of safety because in drifting, you are likely to have a side impact. You spin, someone hits you, someone spins, you hit them. And what happens is, especially if you're looking, your head's gonna whip really hard and you can damage your neck. So this is what you can't tell with the helmet, without the helmet on, but it keeps your head from slapping from side to side. So like I said, I did think long and hard about it because it's definitely not something you'd want in a street car and all that, but I think it makes sense. For me, for what I do with the car and safety wise, it makes sense. So I just went ahead and ordered another start. So that's gonna be my passenger, this will be the driver, and then the other one of these I'm gonna put in the Z. So I'll have a halo seat in both cars and be, you know, fully legit and safe. So I think that makes sense as the call. So if I hate it, I'll sell them. I should probably hit this with the vacuum before I throw the new brackets in. If you've ever installed like side mount race seats in a car, you know how much it's always sucks. It's just such a pain because either you bolt the bracket down first and then you have a hard time getting the side bolts in for the seat, or you bolt the seat onto the brackets and then it's like almost impossible to get the bottom bolts in. Either way, never fun. I've also got to drill holes and mount my eye hooks for my harnesses, so I'm going to start figuring that out before I start mounting the seat in. We are going to have to do some modifications to the floor. So these seat brackets, I'll show you when I take the seat out. So the brackets I'm using are Bell Raceworks brackets. He started making these for Miatas. He does the shifter in the Z, the diff brace in the Z. I've got a lot of stuff from him. He's super affordable on the price of stuff. Makes it here in America, like in Florida, locally, nice stuff in general. So pretty much if he makes it, I'm gonna use his stuff. Anyway, so these are meant for you to cut the rear humps out. As you can see, that's where it would stock bolts in back here. So you could put it in with the rear hump in if you didn't want to deal with cutting it out, but this is gonna limit how far your seat's gonna go down because the seat's gonna hit this. So what we're gonna do is cut the rear humps out. It's slotted for your different width seats. So another thing we're gonna do is work the trans tunnel here with a hammer to try to slide this side over as far as we can get it to the trans tunnel to move the seat over a little bit, because with where the top cage bar has to be, you know, kind of inside, my helmet is gonna hit the cage bar if I just put the seat in the way it is now. So pull the carpet up and start trying to do some metal work, make them fit good. Okay, got the humps cut out. I would be lying if I said that I had fun doing it. I did not. I don't have a spot weld drill. So instead of drilling out the spot welds and doing all that, what I ended up doing is cutting out the humps and then grinding down the high spots on like basically the lip that's left. Should give us plenty of room. The seat's gonna hit other stuff before it hits that. So we good. So now need to throw the car back down, drill holes, figure out harness hole location, and we got stuff to do. Okay, we got the brackets in, mounted securely. What we need to do now is drill the holes for the eyelets for the lap belts, and then the hole for the fifth point. So I need to figure out exactly where it comes up in the seat, and then drill the hole within, like they all have to be within a certain angle. I think the lap belts are 20 degrees, like a window of that, and then the other one is like 0 to 20 back or something like that. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But I almost bolted the seat in, which is a pain because you can barely get to these side bolts over here. And then I realized that I need to do the lap belt stuff. We're putting the harnesses in. I decided to go with Crowell Enterprises. They're just really well made. They're made in America, which is sick, crafted with pride in America. To me, some of the coolest things about it is you can custom spec it out however you want. So I like the pull up style lap belts because I think they're way easier to adjust than trying to pull down, because you just like pull down into the floor. So you can say, I want this 5-point with the pull ups and the black hardware. You know, you can spec it out however you want. I went with silver because I really like this look. It's flashy but clean, if that makes sense. You can also get like parts individually. So if I have to run a Hans device at some point, I can switch to 2-inch shoulder belts. I don't have to buy a whole new harness. And I got clip-in for both the shoulders and the laps. And they send you these eye bolts with big washers and hardware and everything you need. I'm probably gonna wrap the shoulders around the roll bar, but still, very, very nice harnesses, and they're like $200. It's crazy. Definitely, I think like the best bang for the buck harnesses you can get. Many hours later, and the driver's seat is in. Kind of a pain, just because the bolts are too long. I had to take the seat back out and cut the bolts down, then I put it back in and realized I forgot to drill and mount the submarine belt, and then just one of those things, but so worth it. It looks sick in there, especially with these harnesses. These are so nice. I love this color. And one thing I will say that I noticed when putting these in is the nicer harnesses like these, they're much softer. It's almost like a higher thread count. I don't know how to explain it. They're much more flexible, like as far as like wrapping them up like this, and they're much softer, which makes them much easier to adjust. I have a set of sheep harnesses that I had in here just for driving around, and they're like terrible. They're just so stiff and they're like rock solid. These are much more comfortable. I am still waiting on the passenger one. That one should be here like next week, so I can't do the passenger harness, but I can at least get the passenger seat in. Very, very hyped on this combo though. Didn't intend to go with a Halo seat, but we'll be safer and it looks cool. Looks more race car-y. I've always liked Halo seats. I just like illogical to put one in without needing it. One thing I noticed as I was starting to prep it, so you're like, wait, there's no side bolt holes. There's these little things that are like really in there. So these are the bolt holes. You have to pop these out because these kind of like the bolts are what's gonna hold the fabrics like in the right spot. So you do have to pop those out. I already broke it loose, but you see the point. So, show you guys what this one looks like once it's in. We all done-ish for the night. This has been one of those projects where I'm like over it and I wanna just call it a night, but we still need to do the Z tomorrow, and then I also want to take it for a drive with some, like the tires that were on the car when I used to drift it with a turbo motor, so they're 205 all seasons, because with the 205 R comps, like it hooks so well, which is amazing, and it's fast because it hooks, but like I want to put some like all season normal tires on it and just bake them off, like be able to just instant spin. So anyway, we've got a lot to do, so we're gonna keep working. It's life. Well, it feels like an eternity later, and the passenger seat is in. Well, both seats are in. The eternity is both seats. So this was a little difficult just because the bottom, like the width where the bracket bolt's on, measured the same as that side. So I did pretty much the same thing, maxed it out over to the trans tunnel, centered it all, drilled the rear holes. But the bottom of the seat like flares out a ton at the front, so it hit the trans tunnel. So I had to scoot the front over a little bit, so it's a little crooked. But it works out because otherwise you wouldn't be able to shut the door. So that is one really tough thing about Miatas is this width. Most seats do not fit because look, literally touching. So that is definitely a difficult thing. The other super annoying thing about these seats is that those plugs, because when you slide it down into the bracket, the fabric lifts up. So the little tiny hole you had to begin with is now not over the hole with the threads. So you gotta like try to pull the fabric tight to get the hole in the right spot, to also get the hole in the right spot on the freaking bracket. That was difficult. I wish I had the harnesses in this side right now because it looks so good. They look really sick with the other harnesses in. It looks sick with the Vertex wheel. I'm hyped. I'm hyped, guys. Interior looks sick. I like interior. I like trying to make interior look cool. I've still got to clean the tombstone, and then I'm waiting on the piece, the like delete piece that bolts on there and like looks like a finished piece, and then the cover carpet. And I've also got to I'm going to build a whole bracket there that's going to cover that whole hole with a shift boot. And then I'm going to build a handbrake bracket with a remote mounted master like Adam's car. So all of that I need to do like ASAP. But we're getting there. Long, stressful projects like this, I just think about the end goal. One, seeing it done, which is more than enough. But then two, being able to go inside, take a nice hot shower, and relax. That's what I'm going to do now. So I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, yeah, it's not morning by now. We had a bunch of stuff to do this morning, but got the 205 all seasons on. So we're going to go see how rowdy this thing is. Do not disappoint me, LS Miata. Be rowdy. Spin through third. This is the first drive with the top down. Yeah. It feels way better in this seat. Like just my seating position is actually like where I want it to be. Probably at like 10 PSI though. Forgot about that. Seems like it's running itself. That's what this shit was supposed to feel like. Yeah. Okay, that was sick. Very glad I did that because that's like when I thought 300 wheel in an LS, that is what I expected it to feel like. Just rows first through third if you're just jabbing it. But I mean, it hooks up in third if you stomp it, if you're rolling. But if you bang shift third, it'll keep spinning all the way through third. And like that felt sick. that is what I expected of this swap. And from the looks of it, no more oil leaks. If you guys remember my Q&A video, I said I was working on it. I changed to a stock dipstick and I thread sealed the back 2 Allen bolts because it was like weeping through them. And the pan is dry currently. That doesn't mean there's none, but normally after a rip like that, it would be pretty wet. So we'll give it some time. I'm gonna throw it on the lift so that I can check that and pull the Z in. We can start doing seats on the Z. Also, we've got pretty much the last thing that needs to be done to the house. Austin hit me up on Instagram / my video. He's like, I own a baseboard company. If you need help, like, let me know. I'll come give you guys a hand installing baseboards. So he's out here jamming out. We tried to help, but he's like, dude, this is a solo project.
I decided not to go to college and go the trade route, and I opened up my own trim company. Started when I was 18, and now I can help out my YouTube friends and do their house for them. It's a great job, and you get paid a lot, so you don't have to go to college to make money. I mean, if your parents pay for it, go for it.
Right, or if you're doing something specific, like you want to do engineering, or you want to do medical, or
a teacher.
There's certain things that you have to go to college for, but you don't have to go to college to make money. You just gotta hustle.
100%.
It's good. He's knocking it out. Wow. So we went with the 5 1/4. He pretty much schooled us on this stuff and explained what we needed to do and what was normal and what wasn't. A lot of people thought we weren't going to do baseboards in the house, and we're like, it's on the list, I promise.
You gotta do it, man.
It's kind of a mess because we got everything thrown everywhere. What else? Oh, I got to take you for a ride in the Miata in a little bit.
Oh, dude, that exhaust was insane.
Did you hear it ripping down the road?
Oh, dude, as soon as you pulled out, I was like, oh, he must be like giving it gas because, you know, like your clutch is hard. But then as soon as you got on it, it was like, it opened up.
Yeah.
It made you like trim in your
What? Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, well, we are not going to be putting this seat in the Z because this seat rail is significantly wider than these bolt holes. I mean, it would make sense that it would be for the side mount bride brackets, which I might have some, which means I guess I could throw the bride in the passenger side. I'll see about doing that if I can find brackets. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw the driver's side in. Wow, after doing seats on hard mounted brackets in the Miata, doing seats in the Z is way easier. There's so much more room. The easier thing about these seat rails is they can be sliders because you don't have to have it on the ground to sit decently low. But even then, I didn't even need to take the seat rail out. There's enough room on the side to get to the freaking bolts. What a concept. Really, it took like 3 minutes to take the seat out in comparison to forever. There's no nicer feeling than new, freshly bubble wrapped parts. The driver's seat in looks snazzy in there. It's nice to have a seat that actually fits me well. This one's a decent bit bigger than the bride. It fits me snug, but it fits me well. The bride was always, you know, on the tight side. I could squeeze into it, but it was snug. So the only downfall is there's a lip on the front of this seat that's like molded into the seat. It hits the slider before I can get the seat any lower than this, because I could drop the rear down 1 more notch and then drop the front down 1 more notch, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It does sit a little higher, but my head still clears with the helmet and everything, so I'm good with it. It looks fancy too. Like the colors all worked out, like coincidentally. Like we got red steering wheel, red harnesses, gold quick release, gold latch, and then like goldish, mainly yellow, but gold stitching. Oh, matches. Whew. So what I got to do to get the bride in, the passenger side, one, I have to offset it. If I have both these turned in, it doesn't fit. If I have them both turned out like this and slid all the way in, it doesn't fit. So 1 in, 1 out, it fits. So I'm going to keep it offset from the trans tunnel towards the outside, and I'm going to weld these on. It's amazing how much easier MIG welding is than TIG. Look at this. MIG is like super, super easy once you get the hang of it. Just gotta let it cool down, throw some paint on it, throw it in the car. Check it out. Looks way better now. I'm very happy because I like the interior of this car, but with the stock passenger seat, it just looked kind of jank. Now we got super nice driver's seat, very safe, proper seating position, all that good stuff matches. And then got the bride and the passenger. I have a spare harness, but I hate it. It's like a crappy one, and I don't have the hardware to put it in right now. So right now I've got the stock seatbelt, which will be nice to have in there anyway if I'm street driving or whatever, so whoever's in it can just throw the seatbelt on. It literally took probably a quarter of the time to put seats in this car, including modifying and welding an entire seat bracket, than it did putting the seats in the Miata. Seats on seats. brothers. Well, I guess I'm gonna end this video here. I'm not sure what else I'm gonna do today. I might get started on the GC8. I don't know, but that'll be its own thing. So for now, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.